Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Cassidy. If it's not, thanks for always tuning into my videos. Today, it is the best time of the month and it's coming a little bit late for you because BookTube Bestie just took over my life in January. It is Snakes and TBR Stacks time. If you don't know, Snakes and TBR Stacks is my TBR game. It helps me pick what to read each month. It is inspired by Snakes and Ladders. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you need to, there is a playlist down below, and I will link the first video where I explain the rules and everything of this year in the description bar. However, I roll. If I hit a snake, I go down and I add a book to my TBR. If I hit a ladder, it's kind of like a reward prompt. Pretty simple. The only thing we need to do before starting and getting into my rolls is talking about how I did last month. Guys, I did it. I somehow completed my TBR in January. I read like 20 books in January. I've never read this much. I have 2 more books to read, but they weren't on my Snakes and Ladders TBR video stacks. I have 2 more books to read, but they weren't on my Snakes and TBR Stacks TBR, so they don't actually matter anyways. But at the time of filming this, I'm sitting at over 7,000 pages read. That's disgusting. I mean, I love it, but it's like, wow, I read a lot. Which means I am going to take it quite easy February. I don't have any like assigned vlogs or anything, and it's kind of just like whatever the board gives me and whatever I'm in the mood to read and vlog will kind of just happen. Besides the fact that there is 72 Hours in the Haunted House happening in February, which is my readathon that I co-host with Mel and Rye, the late night crew. It's a readathon. And then for this edition we have 2 guest co-hosts, which are Lexi and Kaylee. I will link the announcement video down below. This happens the weekend of the 16th, 17th, 18th. And it's just 72 hours, there's wheels to spin, and we're just reading a whole bunch of horror or thriller books. This is the merch. I'm wearing it right now. Other than that, I don't have much going on. I have a couple required reads, but I'm going to tell you about those at the end of the video in case they don't make it onto this. But I do need to pick this, which is the Cup of Chaos. Technically, I've started Empire of the Vampire, which is why I'm counting it as like a completed TBR, but like I haven't finished Empire of the Vampire. But I do need to read that all the way through still. And I need to pick a new Cup of Chaos, which is my top tier patrons. I'm scared. Oh my god, I'm so scared. This one, it sounds a great angry. I don't have time for these chunky books, Jade. It's Jade's pick, which is either the next Seb or the next Jen Lyons book. I'm honestly not going to tell you which one I'm going to do. Okay, these are the 2. I currently have this out from the library as an audiobook because I did actually think I maybe wanted to get to it this month. So we will see. And then Saint's Blood, it's on Scribd, so I can always get it. The problem is that both of these have a next book, and I know I'm going to want to read the next book once I start them. But I'm very excited. I will let you know next month, end of this month, which one I picked. These are both amazing books, so I'm happy with them, and I'm excited to read whatever one I pick. They're so chunky. Other than that, let's just get into the rolls. Because I completed my TBR last month, I only have to do 5 rolls, unless I hit any snakes, of course, which is really nice. Really nice with an easy month to only have to do 5 rolls. Last time we ended on opposite cover, so that's where we start today. Let's do our first roll. Okay, roll 1. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A book with a map. And roll 1, we landed on the easiest prompt I think that I have, which is a book with a map. Super simple. For this one, I'm putting on a required read. The Light of All That Falls by James Islington. This is the last book in this trilogy for Backlist Bookclub, so it needs to be read. I need to do it. This is the month to read it. The live show happens early next month, so January, February, March. Early March! So we need to read it. This one's a chunker. The live show, I think, will be happening on Kaylee or Bex's channel. I don't fully know at this moment in time. I'm not that organized. I'm so sorry. But anyways, this follows... This is the 3rd book in the Lycanis trilogy. It's the ending book. The Lycanis stories, the first one follows our... Oh my god, I hate summarizing this freaking book. It's like the death of me. We're following a world where there are augurs and gifted, and the non-gifted revolted against the augurs because they were using their powers and abusing them and wiped them all out. But they chained the gifted up because the gifted promised to never use their magic again, essentially, and so the gifted kind of became slaves to the non-gifted. And now we're dealing with kind of the retributions of that and what happens a couple years later after all of that, and things are starting to go wrong. We follow a character who is one of the gifted, and there's some prejudice in the world. I'm honestly not loving this series. I've given the first book 1 star and the second book 2 stars, but I'm hopeful, because they do seem to be getting better, for me at least, that this will be a 3-star, and plenty of people in my book club are loving it. I will say that, like, I am the odd one out. Lots of people are literally just, like, loving this trilogy and devouring them. So I am excited to read this. I'm excited to knock a series off my list because it's been a series I've wanted to read forever. And yeah, we will get to it this month. And if you don't know, you can follow Backlist Bookclub on Twitter and Instagram. Roll 2. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Guys, we got a mood read. Yes! And on our second roll, we got a mood read. So this is actually my, like, saving grace. I love that the board was nice to me and it gave me a mood read. With a mood read, there's 3, like, happy spots on this board. There's a mood, a wild, and a skip. The mood is the one that will let me pick it throughout the month, so I don't have to tell you what I'm reading now. This has a couple options it could be for sure. It definitely could be something for Haunted House, which is like Jack and Jill by Keelan Patrick Burke, which is a short story, or The Haunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates. I know I'm going to read a lot of Keelan Patrick Burke and a lot of Darcy Coates in Haunted House, so it could be one of their stories. I own a couple other ones, I just don't have them in easy capacity to me. It could be Saint's Blood or The Memory of Souls, since I need to read them. It could be The Wolf of Aran because this is the book club pick for Femmes Affictionadas, and I would like to get to this and read it. But it also could be anything else. I'm very, like, flexible with my mood read, and that's why it's such a lovable prompt, and that's why it is a reward prompt. Roll 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, rainbow. That one's fun. And our next roll landed on rainbow. So this is a fun prompt. It is to pick a color cover that is the next in the rainbow from the last book I either read or the last book I picked. I'm going to do the last book I picked just because there is one. The last book I read is kind of there for when I haven't, like, when it's the first roll of the month. So the last book I picked, since the second roll was a mood read, I don't think that'll count, is The Light of All That Falls. Now, I asked my patrons, and I asked if this counts as a white or red cover, and it was kind of mixed. A mixed bag. So I'm gonna go with white. And because in the rainbow it goes red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet, I had to think about that. I then do white and black, and then it starts again. So since this is white, my next cover will have to be a black cover. And for that, I'm gonna pick The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor by Catherine Moon. This is the Tempting Monsters Book 1. I am reading this for Cliterature Club. So, this is Steph from Steph's Loves a Book Club. She asked me and Mel from Eleanor Reads graciously to come guest host for February. It is the month of romance. You know, we have Valentine's Day. So, why not get a fantasy romance in there? A dark romance, a monster smut story. I know nothing about this. She gave me like a pick of 3 books, and I said, I want that one, please. It's monster smut. It says, there are rules to be followed, expectations to meet, and Esther is afraid she might be too wicked even for a place like Rooksgrave. Temptations lurk around every shadowy corner, and Esther has never been a girl able to resist. But the risk of disappointing her new gentleman isn't all that's threatening Esther's new position. Rooksgrave Manor, protections for its unusual patrons are failing. The wards are crumbling, and Esther's new and exquisitely pleasurable life may all come tumbling down. I want to say this is a reverse harem, but I'm not 100% sure. I would love it if you guys joined us. I will leave Steph's channel linked down below and her Instagram for Cliterature Club. I very little get to participate in this. I'm terrible at participating in book clubs that aren't my own. I'm just really excited that she asked me to co-host. If anyone's looking for co-host this year for book clubs, I'm happy. Like send me a message. I want to participate in more book clubs, but I'm terrible when it's not a mandatory read. So make it a mandatory read for me is what I'm saying. Anyways, thank you, Steph, for asking me to be a part of it. I hope you guys join us. Let me know in the comments down below if you will be joining us. This is on KU, so it will be easy to read. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that one's a good one this month. And our next roll landed on new. This worked so perfectly for me because I just had a bunch of anticipated books released in January. The one I'm going with, though, I don't have a physical of it yet. I need to get it, is A Shade of Madness by Thiago Abdallah. This was the best book of 2022 for me. Like, A Touch of Light made it to the top of so many lists for me. It was #1 on my best books. So, of course, when the sequel came out, I need to get to it. And A Touch of Light follows a world called Avarin, which is kind of falling apart. It believes in, like, life and death. There's, like, different cultures going around, but essentially there are zombies coming to town. They're like cool zombies though. They're not like your typical zombie. And we follow our characters as they try to figure out how to stop this curse, how to stop what's going on. There's a bunch of magic cultures. It's just like so rich and heavy. I love it. If you are a fan of Sanderson, like if you are a Stormlight fan, Thiago's writing is just so intricate. You will be finding out Easter eggs throughout all of the stories. It is an incredible series. I believe it's supposed to be 5 books long. Definitely pick it up. Now is the time to pick it up and be part of the wave that is A Touch of Light stan. Like, I am the #1 fan. I'm just claiming it for myself. But also, A Dual Sin and No Heart for a Thief just came out, and so those were runner-up picks, but I was gonna pick A Shade of Madness. 9. Oh god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Our Fantasy. I like that one too. And our last roll. We didn't hit a single snake. We did it. We didn't do it. Did it? We didn't do it. That makes no freaking sense. Okay, but we didn't hit a snake. So we had a good month. And we landed Our Fantasy. Our Fantasy was hard for me. I have like 7 prompts left, and they're all the hard ones. So there's one that is a initial that is also a pseudonym. So I could do like T. Kingfisher. I also have 5 SFF short stories. So I could do one of these Darcy Coates short story collection, which I think I will be reading one of these in Haunted House. So this is probably the smart pick. I also have YA Antihero. I'm honestly not sure if this counts, but A Ship of Smoke and Steel by Django Wexler. I do already have Django Wexler on there, but I think the prompt that I use Django Wexler from is easily replaceable compared to the YA one that I'm struggling with. So like this might be the one I pick. I'm really struggling with a YA Antihero. Or I can do the one I'm gonna pick, which is the Set in Space and Not from Earth prompt. And I believe A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers counts for this. And this is the book club pick for the Checkout Book Club, which is hosted by like Maria, Kristen, Sarah, and Kate. And I have participated in every single one just because it seemed to pick books I've already read, or actually that's not true, I didn't participate in the last pick. I meant to, but I didn't. But this is a short one, so I think it should be easy. But hopefully I will get a couple more of these Our Fantasies done because I only have till April 1st. And so I need to get them moving and a grooving. But yeah, that's my TBR. Honestly, that's not too bad. The board was nice to me and it gave me good prompts, which is exactly what I needed. Let's hold these up. It should look something like this, which is actually not too bad. And I did get all of my required reads in for the month. The only other book that I have to read during this that isn't on here technically is the next book in the Rob J. Hayes trilogy. It's a 5-book series. The next book in the Rob J. Hayes book, me, Mel, Kaylee, and Rachel are all buddy reading it. It's the one that starts with Along the Razor's Edge. We're going to do the 2nd book this month. So I do still want to read that, but it's like technically not required. So I do think that this was really great month. I'm getting a lot of reads in that I want to read and that I need to read. I mean, I will probably read more than this, I think, as long as I don't slump too hard. Definitely with Haunted House, I'll be reading a lot of books in that readathon. There's also Polarthon, which I might take part in, but I might not. I do want to throw it out there that that is happening, and I'll link in the description Jade's Polarthon announcement. I typically love Polarthon and always participate, but I just I got a lot I want to read this month that aren't winter fantasies. So, I'm not sure I will, but if I can, I will. I don't know. I'm just seeing where life takes me. That's essentially it this month. And then next month, I'll do some intensive vlogging. But anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me this video. I love snakes and TBR stacks. I honestly do. And I just feel like well taken care of after this one. I feel like the board just knew what I needed. And it's connected. We are connected. If you are excited about any of the books on my TBR, let me know down below. If you're hanging out in any of the book clubs that I'm taking part in this month, let me know down below. And if you're not feeling chatty and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, there's bats. A bat emoji. And then if you want to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon, all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an absolutely spectacular day.